Hello, coin collectors out there. Well, everyone else was looking for these coins right here, which I keep in a nice tube. Most of them happen to be dated 1964 or early 1960s. These are the Roosevelt dimes. Those are 90% silver. These ones right here, another little tube. Now, the coin collectors out there will know that just by looking at the side of this tube, you can probably know what's in here. These are the silver quarters as well. Here's another 1964. Now, you guys know about the Coin Act of 1965, which we talked about on my previous video that took the silver out of coins. While all that was happening, this coin right here actually kind of flew under the radar, and it's worth a lot more than people might realize. This is a 1964 Jefferson nickel, and it looks like it's just an average condition because mine happens to be, but PCGS has on their price guide for a full steps 1964 Jefferson nickel at a mint state 67. They have the value of that rated at $15,000. So you guys can find that out by going to pcgs.com/prices, price guide detail. Search kind of those key terms into Google and you'll get the price guide. And those will show you the prices of the Roosevelt dimes and Jefferson nickels and Washington quarters and everything else that you could want to know. So why is this one worth so much? Well, everyone was hunting for these dimes and quarters, and they're pulling them out of circulation. That these ones right here that were in great condition actually kind of flew under the radar. People weren't really looking out for them, so there aren't that many that survived in great condition. In addition, the mintages on these are absolutely astounding. There are so many million of these produced, and what that indicates is that they might not have been replacing the dies as frequently as they should have. So getting a nickel that has the full steps is going to be very, very hard. So in 1964, there were 1 million produced at the Philadelphia Mint, but don't get amazed by that because there are 1.7 billion there were 1 billion produced at the Philadelphia Mint and 1.7 billion produced at the Denver Mint. So as you can see, mine happens to be from the Denver Mint, so I'm not really surprised on that. But that 1964 Jefferson nickel, I keep mispronouncing it for the Roosevelt dime, but the Jefferson nickel that was on the PCGS, now that had a designation of FS that indicates that it has full steps. So on the reverse, you're going to want to see the steps of the Jefferson Memorial, of Monticello, right there. So you're going to want to see those steps. Now that's an indication that it was made as part of the early run of the specific die. So the dies that have the design on them, they're slammed into the planchette, and then as they kind of keep slamming over and over and over and over again, they get worn out. So the ones that are made at the very beginning of the run are going to have the most detail, and those are going to be the ones that have the full steps on the reverse. So again, the designation for the $15,000 one is a FS67, indicating full steps. I think I said mint state earlier, but it actually has the FS designation indicating full steps. So what we also talked about on yesterday's video, that starting in 1968, they moved all of these mint marks to the obverse of the coin. So this one was one of kind of the last little run of coins that had the mint mark still on the reverse. Some other cool, interesting things about this. You guys probably know about the Jefferson nickel that's known as the wartime nickel. Now that one actually did have silver in it. That particular run was made from 1942 until 1945. The metal content of this coin is 75% copper, 25% nickel. However, that wartime nickels did have 40% silver in them. Now, you can still find great versions of these while coin roll hunting, which is one of the cool things about this specific date and these specific 1960 coins. When I first started coin roll hunting, I usually would discard anything that was a nickel that was made after 1959 because They weren't really old enough for me, but then as I've kind of matured and learned more about the different variety coins that are out there, I kind of look for some other key dates. So don't necessarily discard all of your nickels. If they're in great condition, definitely hang on to them. Now, there are a couple error coins that we're going to talk about for this 1964 nickel, so let's get into it. We're looking at the Cherry Picker's Guide right now, and so there's a 1964D Jefferson nickel that has the repunched mint mark, the old RPM, one of my favorite errors out there. So you see the mint mark right here. It's going to have a D on it. However, there's going to be a secondary D that's visible to the south of the primary D. Now, the Cherry Picker's Guide has this valued at a mint state 65. The variety is worth $300. So that's obviously on the high end. A mint state 60, which actually is pretty obtainable for everyday people like me and you to find, that with the mint state 60 variety, that is worth $100. So even if it's not in great condition, but it's got that RPM on the back, it's a 1964 Denver Mint nickel, it can still be worth a decent amount of money. All right, so we'll start to sign it off here, people. If you're into coin collecting, like I always say, please do check out some of the other videos on my channel. Hopefully you enjoy them all. Hopefully you're getting some good information from them. If you have any feedback for me, feel free to let me know. I'm always interested in improving and getting better. All right, best of luck coin collecting, everyone. Have a great day.